What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and in this video we're discussing are Big Rami's delts going to be an issue for him in 2022 at the Mr. Olympia? Samson Dowda guest posing, can he do what Ronnie did in 1998 and win the Mr. Olympia out of nowhere? Brandon Harding turns pro, but how will he do in the classic physique as a pro? Open versus 212 versus classic physique in a guest posing extravaganza. Brett Wilkin and Nick Walker team up, plus much more. I hope you guys enjoy this video. What's up, desktopers? Now let's launch straight into this one, and we're going to discuss Brett Wilkin and Nick Walker training together and teaming up for a leg session. And it looked pretty intense as well, and by the comments and all that sort of stuff, it seemed like it was a damn hard workout, which is great to see these guys teaming up. Nick Walker, formerly coached by Matt Jansen, and then, Brett Wilkin, formerly of Hostile, who Nick Walker's with now, and, Brett Wilkin is coached by Matt Jansen as well. So we've sort of switched between supplement companies and sponsors and all that sort of stuff. But it's cool to see these guys team up, because it was a rumor going around, and as I believe it was reported by Nick Trigili as well, that Nick Walker basically gave Matt Jansen an ultimatum and wanted to be sort of the sole athlete that Matt was coaching. I don't know if that was ever true or not. I never got any definitive word on that. But it's cool to see these guys teaming up, and you can see in the comments here as well, Ivana, Brett's partner, said, "So happy you two got to train." Brett Wilkin also commented, "I can't bend my legs," and then a little in pain emoji as well. So it seemed like a really hardcore workout, and it's really cool to see these guys teaming up as well. So I'm sure this will be on either Nick Walker's YouTube channel, Brett Wilkin's YouTube channel, or maybe on both as well. So make sure you do check out those guys' channels as well. Now, in our next story, Mark Hector looks like a UK Arnold Classic threat. You can see this back lat spread here looks really, really impressive. I believe it was after a massage. His back is opened right up, whether that was partly because of a massage, but obviously there's a lot of meat on that back now. This is about 3 weeks out, I believe. And it makes me wonder, is this conditioned enough from a back? Because we've seen the shots from the front where Mark Hector is looking crazy right now. And he looks like a legitimate threat to win that 2022 Arnold Classic UK. It's going to be interesting to see if he has the amount of mass with the conditioning, because when you make so many big improvements so quickly, sometimes it's hard to condition that muscle, but Mark Hector has the shape. If he can bring the conditioning with that added size, he's going to be very dangerous at this 2022 Arnold Classic UK. In our next story, we have Samson Dowda guest posing just 16 weeks out of the 2022 Mr. Olympia. Samson got up to 330 pounds of his offseason, when last offseason, I don't even know if he reached 310. So he's made some massive gains. I assume he's come down a little bit in weight from where he was at his peak offseason weight, because he does look, reasonably tight. His abs are popping. He's got lines in his legs. But he looks absolutely enormous, and it makes me ask the question as well, can he shock the world in 2022? Because many people say these days it sort of can't happen, or they don't think it can happen. But what Ronnie Coleman did in 1998 was truly amazing, and obviously Samson's under, the coaching of Milos Sarcev, and he's done some amazing things with some athletes like Dennis Wolf when he was sort of challenging Jay Cutler. And I think Dennis came at 5th that year at Mr. Olympia, but many people believe that he's sort of challenging almost for the win. So I would love to see Samson Dowda come in, shock the world. He's a nice guy, tons of muscle, and by this recent guest posing in Spain, he looked absolutely insane. And I think he's going to do some serious damage at Mr. Olympia if he can bring that crazy conditioning to the stage with that new added mass. But as we know, once you add a certain amount of mass to your physique, sometimes it is hard to condition it. And I think with another year on top of this, Samson Dowda is going to be contending for that 2022 or 2023 Mr. Olympia. But let me know what you think in the comments below about that. Now on to Big Rami and his latest physique update. He's out there training with Dennis James right now, and that's the reason why I've seen a lot more content out of Big Rami as well. And this most recent physique update sort of got my attention a little bit for good and bad reasons as well, and well, potentially bad reasons. We'll start with that. Now, when I see this photo initially, you're like, the waist is small. Looks sort of funny. I think maybe because there is a light in the background, maybe they lightened up the main part of the photo, because you sort of get that look across the abs and the chest and all that sort of stuff, like the photo's just been sort of brightened up in the middle of it. But the other thing that I noticed, obviously a huge amount of mass, looks in pretty damn good condition for this far out of the Olympia, all those sort of good signs, but the delts look absolutely insane. Now, insane in a good or bad way, I mean, I'll leave it up to you guys, but you can see his right delt here. It like pokes up almost abnormally, and it looks a lot like Justin Rodriguez's shoulders, and he cops a little bit of slack for that as well. Now, Hardy Chupin sort of has a different look to his shoulders, which he's copped a bit of criticism for, but I decided I wanted to look back on some old photos of Big Ramy from the last few Olympias and decide if this is a new thing or his delts have always actually been like that. Because I've never really noticed super suspect delts from Big Ramy, and I think maybe Hardy Chupin's sort of taken the cake there, and he sort of gets a lot of the attention. But when I look back, there's really little definition in Big Ramy's delts of most recent Mr. Olympias. But when I go back to his pro debut, which I think was around 2013 at the New York Pro, you can see there's more lines in the delta there, but they do stick out like crazy as well, even back then. So I don't know if this is, just basically that Big Ramy's done shots in his shoulders, they've got inflamed, and that's sort of how they look, because this is a common thing. A lot of guys shoot their shoulders, they get very inflamed. If they shoot them and then go to the gym, Big Ramy already has huge shoulders, so you shoot him as well, and they're just going to blow up. But this is something that Big Ramy could have an issue with. Year to year, you see one guy come in and you go, oh, that looks a little bit funny on this guy. Maybe they get marked down a little bit. And if it's Mr. Olympia, everyone's going to notice, because everyone's going to be criticizing Mr. Olympia. And also Big Ramy did miss that Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. So if he does have something funky going on, he could be judged a little bit more harshly. But let me know what you think in the comments below about this latest physique update from Big Ramy. Are the delts suspect? Are they not? Are you impressed? Let me know what you think on all of that in the comments below. But I don't think it's reason for concern, because it could just be basically, he's put a few shots in there, they're slightly inflamed, and that's why they look like this. Plus, also, his delts are absolutely huge anyway. But let me know what you think in the comments below. On to our next story. Now, Brandon Harding turned pro over the weekend. He placed second in the overall at his last comp, which I think was about 2 weeks ago now. He gets harder, he looks better. Very, very impressed with the package that Brandon Harding brought to the stage. The conditioning was outrageous, and he turns pro, but how will he do as an IFBB pro? Now, he has plenty of weight to add in this division as well, so I think as a pro, he's probably got about 10, 11, 12 pounds to add to his physique. Even as an amateur, he still had weight to add to his physique, so I think Brandon Harding has a much higher ceiling than perhaps people think, and if he's able to take some time, add that necessary muscle that he needs to be able to compete at a high level with these other pro classic physique guys, then I think he can do very, very well. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And I just want to say congrats to Brandon Harding as well. Now, there was a pose down. Open versus 212 versus classic physique. You got Ahmed El Wardani on the left, who's the 212 competitor. In the middle, you have Mo Shaban, who's a top 10 Mr. Olympia competitor in the open. And then you got Breon Ansley, who's a classic physique Mr. Olympia winner, I believe 2 times. And they're all posing down together, and Breon Ansley looks like he's put on a bit of mass there on the right. I'm pretty impressed by his most recent physique update here in this guest posing. He did say that he's actually going to go to classic physique and compete at some stage this year, and then basically next year move into the 212s, but it looks like he might even be moving into the 212s a little bit early, because it seems like he's added some mass to his physique. Mo Shaban in the middle looks pretty damn impressive. Then Ahmed El Wardani just recently competed as well. But it goes to show, when you compare Ahmed El Wardani on the left compared to Breon Ansley, they're sort of similar size-wise. Now, Ahmed El Wardani maybe has the slightly cleaner lines now, just because he is a younger guy. Breon's getting a little bit older now, and you sort of expect those lines to start going. But I think once Breon gets in condition, his lines will look really, really good once again. But overall, I think Breon looks pretty damn impressive. It just depends whether his legs will be able to actually come up with that age as well, from a classic physique size to the actual 212 size. Now, before I wrap this video up, I want to give a couple of shout outs to a few people. First one is Hunter Labrada, getting married to his partner, Liv Roth. And just want to say a huge congrats to these guys. They seem like really nice people. I've interviewed Hunter before, and he's really, really nice. Liv seems like, basically she's like, his right-hand woman, and they seem like a really good team together. So very, very happy for those guys getting married over the weekend. Also, a big happy birthday to Sean Clarita, who turns the big 4-0, 40 years of age, a 212 Mr. Olympia. Will he do the Open or 212 this year at the 2022 Mr. Olympia? It remains to be sort of announced by Sean Clarita, but I can't wait to actually see if he does do the Open or the 212s. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give the video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up for myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. So that's it for me, for Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. We are out.